Hi everybody, sending you lots of love and blessings. In this video I want to talk about honoring your worth and charging appropriately. So this is a really interesting topic and I think it's interesting because most people think about what they charge as having to do with themselves and the value that they provide. And it actually doesn't have to do with that. And if you can disconnect yourself from this, you can open yourself up to so much more abundance flowing through to you than you ever have before. Because pricing is not really dependent on what you're offering. For example, there's some people, coaches, for example, that I can think of that are charging hundreds of thousands of dollars for their packages, hundreds of thousands of dollars, that some people are giving away the same thing for free. What's the difference between the pricing that one person is offering and the pricing that the other person is offering? It only has to do with what you think people will pay for what you're offering. So it's really not connected to the value that you're offering as much as it is connected to what you think people will pay. Now, of course, there is a skill level that you have to have, but for the most part, those of you that are offering something, that are offering your gifts, that are extending your services, you're already at the level where what you're providing is infinitely valuable to people because you've had the life experience that's brought you to the point where you now feel like you want to give. And just that impulse in and of itself is evidence and proof that what you have to offer is valuable. Because if you have the impulse and if you're feeling inspired and you're feeling passionate about giving something and gifting something, that means that you do have something to offer and that impulse is being pulled out and called forth by the clients that want to receive it. I was just getting chills all over because of the resonance that I'm feeling with that. So if you're offering, there are people that want to receive. So then how do you set your pricing if it doesn't have to do with inherently with what it is that you're actually offering? You set your pricing by what you feel in alignment with. So if you feel in alignment with charging $50 per hour for what you're providing, then charge that. If you feel out of alignment with charging $200, then don't charge that and then see what happens, because if you're out of alignment, you're not going to get the results that you want. Instead, work on the beliefs behind that first. This is the reframing that I always talk about, the thing that I learned from Nick Bro, the most amazing, this has really transformed my whole experience of coaching, and it really is the most effective way that I've seen to switch what you're getting reflected back to in your external reality. So what is it that you are thinking that has you thinking that you can only charge this much? If you can reframe that and put that into a place where you're feeling really good about charging a higher amount, then you can go ahead and charge that higher amount. I know for myself, it has to do with experience. It has to do with seeing the transformation happening with my clients. It has to do with looking at their life and saying like, okay, I had a client recently who got access to $1 million. And my initial coaching package is $3,000 for 3 months, $35,000 for 3 months. It's a little over $1,000. And I think about, okay, so if that transformation happened within the body of the coaching work that we're doing, and that's worth $1 million or access to $1 million. It's not, the $1 million wasn't created through the coaching. It was that this person wouldn't have access to that money for 50 years. They were only able to pull out $20,000 at a time. So they got access to that money immediately. That was a complete shift in the laws of the country and like a total rearrangement of reality in order to make that happen. So if I think about that and I think about, okay, well, that $1 million was given access to from $1,000 payout for that month of work that we did, or a little over 1,000. So it's those kind of things that I start comparing, and then I think about a client who felt like she was bullied her entire life, and within 2 weeks of working together, the same people that she felt bullied by were now offering her things, offering her to apply for promotions, supporting her, backing her in conversations at work. So, it's seeing those kind of things that makes me know what I can charge. And then there's also a part of me that's like, well, I don't need to charge the highest amount that I can possibly charge, because that also doesn't feel good to me. I want people who are in certain income brackets to be able to afford what I have to offer. So, I see a lot of advertisements for, 8-figure coaching or like 7-figure coaching. And it's like, I absolutely think everyone should draw to them the amount of abundance that they want. But there's a little bit of a lack mentality in that when you think about, I want to create an 8-figure business and you're not bringing any money in yet. It's kind of this lack mentality, this feeling of scarcity that's driving that desire, right? Because you're wanting to reach so far away from where you currently are at. So your vibration is looking at that as an extreme lack. So not only am I lacking, but I'm lacking an 8-figure business. So that also can amplify, the experience of not having enough and having to charge. Well, now I need to charge, $2,000 per coaching session. So for me, that's not in alignment. If it's in alignment for you, awesome, do that, do that. I'm just pointing out that often we make decisions from being very far out of alignment. So find your alignment, find that sweet spot for you, find the pricing that feels juicy, I know for me, it feels like, I feel like this is a deal for the clients that I'm working with because of the results I know that they're gonna have. I feel like they're getting an awesome deal. And I feel like I'm getting a great deal too, So that for me is a sweet spot. So you find your sweet spot. We're going to be talking about this in day 2 of the Abundant King and Abundant Queen activation coming up in our Facebook, Awakening Personal Power. If you want more information on that, I'll put a link below. Definitely connect with me personally, because I'd love to know more about your business and what you're trying to create and see how I can support you in that. All right, much love to you guys. See you soon.